In a small town where everyone minds their business, a harmless madman collects trash, but what he's really collecting will leave you shocked. Agbejula was a small town, peaceful but strange. Everyone minded their business. The market women sold goods, the hunters went into the forest, the fishermen cast their nets, and the farmers tilled their land, all without interfering in each other's lives. If a woman cried at night, nobody asked why. If a man was seen limping in the morning, nobody asked how. That was just how Akpejula was. But there was one person everybody knew, Dede, the madman. Dede was not like the other mad people that roamed the streets of bigger towns. He was not violent. He did not throw stones or chase children. In fact, he was gentle. With his dirty torn clothes and his tangled hair, he wandered through the streets, smiling and waving at people. Good morning, Mama Nkechi, he would greet an old woman. Good morning, Papa Tajo, he would call out an elder. And because he was polite and harmless, people pitied him. What a waste of a young man, they would say. Who knows what happened to him? Some said he was cursed. Others said he had run mad because of bad family people. Nobody knew his real story. But they all agreed on one thing. He was a good madman. That was why, when Dede started offering to take people's trash, nobody thought it was strange. In fact, they found it helpful. Every morning, he walked through the town, collecting people's waste and carrying it in a large black bag. He would go from compound to compound, knocking on doors. Good morning, madam. Make I carry your trash now. Some refused, some accepted, and those who did sometimes gave him small tips, thinking they were helping a harmless madman. For a whole year, Dede carried trash for the people of Apuechula. No one suspected anything until Teni arrived. Teni was different from the people of Agbejula. She was a copper, fresh out of university, sent to the town to complete her 1 year national service. She was a beautiful young woman with sharp eyes that noticed everything and a mind that asked too many questions. She was not like the people of Agbejula who ignored strange things. She was curious. From the first day she arrived, she noticed the way everyone minded their business. The market women really never gossiped. The men at the palm wine joints never asked questions. Even the children knew how to keep quiet. But the strangest thing to her was Dede. She saw how he went from house to house collecting trash. She noticed how people gave him money sometimes. And though nobody seems to find it odd, something about it made her uncomfortable. At first, she didn't think much about it. Every town had its own way of doing things. So she did something nobody else did. She burned her trash. Every evening, she would go to the back of her compound, pour out her waste into the metal drum, and light a fire. She did not want anybody, mad or not, to touch her waste. One day, her neighbor, Iriti, a plump woman with a loud voice, noticed this and laughed. Denny, why are you stressing yourself? What do you mean? Denny asked. There is a madman that usually collects trash for us, Iriti said, pointing outside. He will take it for you if you leave it in front of your house. Then Denny shook her head. I prefer to do it myself. And that was how she stayed safe, until something strange happened. One morning, as she went outside to burn her trash, she noticed something missing. Her used menstrual pads. At first, she thought she had misplaced them. Maybe she had already thrown them into the fire. But the next month, the same thing happened. Someone was taking them. A chill ran down her spine. Who would do such a thing? She asked her neighbor, but nobody admitted to knowing anything about it. Iriti laughed. Maybe the wind blew it away. But Steny was not convinced. And one fateful afternoon, she caught the thief. That day was quiet. So quiet. Steny was sitting in her room reading a book when she heard a noise outside. It was soft at first, just a rustling of plastic. Then she heard footsteps. Someone was searching through the trash. Her heart started pounding slowly. She tiptoed to her window to peep outside, and what she saw froze her in place. It was Dede, but he was not just picking trash. He was carefully selecting something, and then she saw it. He was taking used menstrual pads. Her breath caught in her throat. She felt her body go cold. Why? What would a madman want with such a thing? Before she could stop herself, she rushed outside. Hey, what are you doing? Dede turned sharply, his eyes wide with shock. For the first time, she saw something she had never seen before. Fear. The way his hands shook, the way he clutched the bag like a child holding stolen food. He was hiding something. I, I, he stammered, but Teni was not listening. She raised an alarm. Everybody, come out! The shout echoed through the compound. The doors flew open. Neighbors rushed out. Market women ran into the street. Even the men who had been napping under the mango tree came out. Teni, what is it? Someone asked. Teni pointed at Dede. I caught him stealing used parts from the trash. The people gasped. At first, some shook their heads. No, not Dede. He's harmless. But Teni was firm. Search his bag. The crowd hesitated. Then one of the men stepped forward. He grabbed the date bag from Dede's hand and opened it. And what they saw made the entire town to freeze. Inside the bag were dozens of used menstrual pads. Some fresh, some old, some covered in dry blood. A heavy silence fell over the people. Then, all at once, they shocked on to rage. What are you doing with this? Dede started shaking. His lips quivered. The air in Agbejula felt thicker than ever before. The people who once looked at Dede with pity now stared at him with horror. The silence was deafening. All eyes were fixed on the bag of horror, filled with dozens of used menstrual pads, some fresh, some old, all stained with dry blood. Dennis' heart pounded in her chest. She had known something was wrong, but this was beyond what she had imagined. The women of the town shifted uncomfortably, realization drawing on their faces. The men clenched their fists, their jaws tightening. Even the old women who usually dismissed trouble mourned nervously. Then, all at once, the silence cracked open. What is this? An elderly voice thundered. Dede, talk. What are you doing with these parts? Another man demanded, stepping forward. Dede stood there frozen. His once smiling face was now twisted in fear. His hands trembled. He knew what would happen if he did not speak. And so he did. At first, it was a whisper. Please, please, don't kill me. His voice cracked. His eyes stared around, searching for mercy. But there was none. Start talking, someone yelled. Then, as if the weight of a secret was too much to bear, Dede collapsed on his knees. Tears streamed down his dainty face. His chest rose and fell rapidly. Then he dropped it through like a hammer. I am not mad. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Dennis' blood ran cold. The people of Akwejula staggered backward. What did the teacher say? Baba Tajo, the oldest man in the town, stepped forward. His eyes burned with anger. I have never been mad, Dede repeated, his voice shaking. It was all a lie. The words hit the crowd like thunder slaps. Then who are you? Ireti, Teni's neighbor, whispered. Her face was pale with fear. Dede's body sagged, his eyes stared around like a trapped animal. He licked his dry lips and spoke the truth that shattered everything. My name is not Dede. My real name is Ayo Ade. I am a businessman from Akure. Almost spread through the crowd like a wave. Akure? So you are not even from Akbejula? Then why? Why did you pretend to be mad? Dede's head dropped in shame. The truth was ugly. I needed to stay eating, he whispered. I needed to keep collecting them, the parts, for the rituals. The moment the word rituals left Dede's lips, the crowd erupted in fury. Women grabbed their chairs, shaking their heads in disbelief. Men clenched their fists. Children unaware of the full horror clutched their mother's wrappers, sensing the danger in the air. Teni felt her skin crawl. Rituals? She repeated. What do you mean? Dede's face twisted with regret, but he knew there was no turning back now. I work with a babalawo, witch doctor in Akure, he began, his voice barely a whisper. He told me that the blood from menstrual pads could be used for wealth rituals, that if I brought enough, my riches would never run dry. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Then he felt her stomach turn. You mean to tell us? One of the elders growled, his hands shaking. That all this time, while we pitied you, while we gave you food, while we laid you into our homes, you were collecting our women's blood for money rituals. Dede nodded slowly. His body trembled as he felt the weight of his confession. Tears rolled down his face. I am sorry. I had no choice. My business was failing. I was desperate. The Babalawo told me that menstrual blood was the strongest offering for wealth. He said if I kept bringing it, I would be rich forever. Then is my rest. This entire year, this entire time, he had been living among them, pretending to be harmless, when all along he was using their blood for rituals. The thoughts made her sick, but the town was beyond sick. They were angry. The first blow came suddenly. A rock flew through the air and smashed against their shoulder. He yapped in pain, but before he could react, another stone hit his back, and then chaos erupted. Men launched at him, fists swinging. Women screamed in rage, some voices echoing through the air. Teni stumbled backward, her breath quickening as she watched Dede's face unfold. Please, he cried, calling to himself. Have mercy. I was desperate. But mercy was far gone from Akbejula. The people had been fooled. They had been used. The men dragged Dede to the middle of the town square. The women spat at him, shouting curses. Bring petrol, someone roared. The words sent a shiver down Teni's spine. She turned to Eriti, her voice barely above a whisper. They, they are going to burn him. Eriti nodded grimly. It is our way. A man who takes women's blood for evil does not deserve to breathe the same air as us. The next moment passed in a blur. Dede screamed. He begged. He pleaded for his life. But the people of Agbejula had decided. When the flames rose, so did their chants. Never again will we trust blindly. Never again will we be fooled. The fire roared higher and higher, consuming the man who had deceived them. And just like that, the madman was no more. That night, after the day's death, Agbejula was silent. No one celebrated. No one spoke about what happened. But something had changed. The next morning, as the women went to throw away their trash, they did not leave them in the open. They buried them. They burned them. They never let another hand touch their waist again. Then standing outside her compound, watched as her neighbors whispered among themselves, holding their trash bags tightly. She let out a slow breath. The people of Agbejula had learned their lesson. Some monsters do not come with claws and fangs. Some monsters smile at you. And sometimes, the madman is not mad at all.